Okay, here we go. So, beginning of this lap was quite good, really. And here I saw you broke just before, like, um, just before the end of the green. You can actually break. So you're breaking here, but you can actually break more or less like one car length after the beginning of the dotted line. So you can break around a bit later, a bit around there. It's just a matter of practicing, of course. With different fuel load, it'll be different, but yeah, we can definitely try to at least brake once you're past the end of the green. So that's one thing to try. And of course, you did well to going all the way here on the pit exit, like on the pit lane, basically. And it's basically going to be braking in a straight line always, and then turning in quite late, pretty much almost at the end of the pit lane, which you did quite well. Here it seems to me that I saw that your steering input was quite high, that you're maybe like, and you can hear a lot of the tires curb, so maybe you're understeering a bit and turning in, but I think at the end you turned in a bit too much, and you can see that your car is going to be quite tight, and then you even go maybe a bit left again to try to reach for the apex on the outside, which you don't need anymore if you're that tight, but yeah, it's a bit difficult to know for sure without seeing your cockpit, but basically this was quite good. Fine, yeah, because it's a late apex, so this was great. So it's just a matter of trying to make it, try to go a bit smoother and maybe turn a bit less tighter, a bit less tight, so a bit looser. Just open a bit earlier and try to aim for the exit of the turn here on the outside. Naturally, of course, if you're aiming tighter, you don't need to then like go towards it. If you're seeing that you're going to be making it, you don't need to go there. So, but yeah, try to open the steering a bit earlier so that you aim towards here to take the line. Here, and then when you take this line, you should go, like, you should be more to the right to take this mini curb, let's say, because it's flat out basically. There's no time loss here in terms of lines because it's flat out. So if you to be faster, you'll have to take the path of least travel distance basically. So here, so you see you have almost the car's width, or at least the car's width of the on the apex. So you should try to hit that curve basically, and then let the car naturally flow and also take this one. And then here, because then by taking it tight on the right, you can turn left earlier, and you should take all the left curve as well. So take all the way to the right, like Stefan is saying in Hubert's video. That's what the sound starts. That's saying right, 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 right. Even tighter to take basically the two. You can take the curbs, the two curbs. You can take them if you stay super tight, and then as you exit this second curb, you're gonna aim towards more or less the middle, and you're gonna start right away turning left. It's kind of a blind crest, but you're gonna have to turn left so that you actually go over the left curb. You have to ride on the left curb of this corner. So yeah, here you have to be coming here. The post will probably not be there anymore, so you have to ride here to ride on the curb, or like on it as much as possible to keep it tight and less distance travel, therefore faster time. And you're gonna come out here, and it's impossible to stay, I think, fully tight at full throttle, but you're gonna come like to the model, almost to the middle, and then try to go back again to the left. Yeah, you're gonna more or less come out here, and you're gonna have to go left again to keep keep it tight to the left, so that we can take a more open line to the right there. The braking there, yeah, it's before this curve. I don't have really a reference point other than I think maybe we can check the one on the right and brake on that one marker that was there. And here it's again a bit of a late apex. Yeah, here you're drifting quite well, but yeah, this you can definitely try to. I know this. Yeah, I know you can do better. So just like here, you can on a clean line with the tires gripping properly, and you can, and being smooth with the steering, you can easily like go where the poles are, just cut basically and go over the green AstroTurf. That's not an issue at all. And when you come out, you're gonna end up around here. If you go wide and on the green, that's fine. Even if you go on the sand, that of course is not ideal, but you can still go straight, as in you can keep the throttle down and just go off the track kind of and rejoin here. It's fine because the grass is a bit inclined toward this side, so you will not like, even if it's wet, you will not like start to aquaplane away. The heel of the grass will kind of keep you going straight here, so then you can rejoin. Here, you see, you kind of like you move to the right, and again, it's there's no point in going to the right if you're gonna go left. If the car naturally at the exit of your corner kind of points you a bit right, it's fine, but your wheel should be at maximum. It should be straight. It should never be turning right. So at the exit, so you see, like here, you're turning, but you were turning so much that you continued to like turn to the right, and you were like turning to the outside of the track while the track is gonna go left. So when you're at just at the exit of this corner on the curb here, the steering should already be straight, because the car is naturally already pointing a bit to the right, and you want to go left anyway. So you don't need to turn. You don't need to turn right at this point anymore. The wheel should be straight as you exit this corner, so that the car will stay like maximum in the middle of the track, but not more. And then we can start turning left and keep tight to the left. So the car should be in the middle of the road here, and you already want to turn left and take all this curb completely. Here you can take up to the poles, completely murder this curb, and then have the steering as straight as possible to get the most speed out of it. And the car will naturally go to the edge of this curb on the outside, and that's fine. As long as you're staying flat on the throttle, that's completely fine. You'll be coming, I think, a bit earlier even to the curb, but yeah, you can ride the curb no problem, as long as you stay on the curb. Continue flat. Here that was great. And then yeah, you can brake. Let's see where you braked. You can brake where the curb is starts to finish, basically. When the curb becomes a triangle, that's where you can brake at. Basically where the car is now, or maybe a meter or two before, is where we can brake and still make the corner fine. It's braking down like heavily and shifting down, and then taking a quite late apex for the next right-hander, like a really late one, because as you all know surely, it's a very bumpy curb, and if you cut too much, the car will bounce and then it will go wide on the exit, and the exit of that one is very slippery, especially when wet. So we really want to be careful here. Like, no, we're not gonna gain time with this corner, but we definitely can lose a lot if we do it wrong. So here is really gonna take it carefully and easy to make sure we don't hit this inside curb too much, and just have a smooth and clean corner on this turn. So that was great actually. This was a great example of this corner. Just don't cut too much, just take the curb a little bit on the inside, and quite late, and then the car will naturally go in a very stable way to the outside. So that was a great corner. Here stay left, of course, and there's not really much of a braking point, except maybe on the right side you can see. You can maybe see, from inside your car, you can see this orange thing on the corner of your eye, or you kind of just start. I don't know if you can use the crane as a reference point, or one of these flags, depending where you see them from inside the cockpit. But yeah, basically the braking is around like after this lighter patch of grass. I don't know if you can see it in the car, but basically, yeah, here we have to brake. It's uphill, so we can brake quite late, and the car will still stop quite well. And then downshift to second and take quite a bit of the curb on the inside. It's quite possible. That was great. Here, I know Stefan upshifts early, so he short shifts so that the car is a bit more stable when he can go on the full throttle. The other guy, he told one of the videos we watched that if you have a lot of speed, or if you kind of went a bit deep and you have a lot of speed, yeah, you can just go flat on the outside of the corner. But if you did a quite good line and you have good grip, then just stay tight and take this curve basically. So if you feel you went a bit deep, a bit wide on the exit, don't go like, oh shit, too deep, I need to lift more and turn in more. No, because then we are going to lose a lot of time on a straight. So basically, if we go braking a bit too late for the previous corner and go a bit deep, we just have to power through and try to like be as close to the line as possible without going off the track, so that we keep up the speed basically. So that's one of the things. This Unleashed Drivers video explains that part quite well, so it's worth having a look. Actually, why don't I just do it now? Is it here? Okay, so here, yeah, here it shows the brake marker as the orange bit. Here you can see like this lighter patch of grass, but during the rain I don't really know what it's going to be like. So maybe like this post here on the left can be a brake marker, depending on its point, depending on how it looks like from our car. But I can see when it goes forward now. So yeah, maybe on the yellow crane, more or less, like when the yellow crane is almost disappearing, or when you feel like the car is definitely before the yellow crane. Okay, a bit before, but yeah, get a fixed reference point, because these boards, especially in the wet and with so many cars, they might be taken out quite early in the race, so they will not be able to be used as reference points if they're gone. So remember to take some reference points that are not destroyable, basically. Let's see what. Yeah, so basically that's what he says. If you have higher speed, just carry the momentum and using all the track. If you have grip, just keep a tighter line, basically. Let's go back here. Here you're braking a bit too early, so the braking point is going to be somewhere between this board and the next board. But of course they might, well, if they're gone, it's because somebody went off the straight on the straight. That's quite strange, but basically, no, my bad. Yeah, so it's and it should be the road goes kind of down, like it goes down here, of course, now, and then it will go down. Sorry, no, I meant you need to brake between the board that we just saw and this one, and the road goes kind of down. You can feel some kind of bump, not bump, but like you can feel it go downhill. So you start braking here, but you kind of need to start braking after this. Like, I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see like this curvature here, kind of showing that the road is going downhill a bit. So after that slight crest, or just before, you can start braking just before it goes downhill, because of course if you brake when it's still flat, then you have more braking power than when you're going downhill. So if you brake more or less, let's see if I can pause it, kind of here, maybe a bit before it starts going down, and yeah, brake super hard and downshift down to third gear. Third gear should be okay for the chicane. And then yeah, you did quite a good line here, I think, of straight lining the chicane. So yeah, Stefan, this is for you. The chicane is not to drive around it, it's to drive straight through it, pretty much like Team did here. So this seemed like a good line. You can stay like I don't know if you went too much to the right, but you can definitely stay on the left, like you can just straighten your wheel. So here you still have some track, like at least a half a car width. So on the exit of the chicane, try to keep your steering wheel pointing as straight as possible towards the exit here, towards this line, and let the car follow this line, because that's the fastest. If you're turning more the wheel to go right, then you're scrubbing speed away. So yeah, aim always to this line, and you can just stay stuck to this line all the way until the braking point, basically, because that's the track curves, so that's still the path of least traveled distance. Here, yeah, again, the road goes a bit down on the braking. So I think it's more or less around this number 1 marker. The road will go. No, it's a bit before. The road will start going down. I mean more than it does. You can already see from here. Like you can kind of almost see here. There's some kind of bump almost. Well, not bump, but yeah, the road will definitely go steeper downhill after the one board. You can maybe brake at the one board, maybe a bit before, depending on how the fuel is in the car, but you can brake a tiny bit later. But again, I think you did a quite good corner from what I remember watching this. Here, removing the brakes all the way to the apex and then smoothly accelerating at the apex. Maybe you could go on the throttle a bit earlier, but in general it seemed like a very good corner. Here you braked a bit too early, not too much, but so you brake here. Damn it! There's a black mark on the track, and there's kind of a hole. So you're braking here at the beginning of the curve, but you can actually brake here when there's this black little thing. So it's more or less at the middle of this curve. You'll get used to watching. Well, when you drive it, this curve is not very long, so it's more or less at the halfway point of this curb section here. You can brake, and there will be like a small bump. Like there's actually a bump on the road. You will feel it. That's where you should brake. And yeah, this is what I was telling to Stefan Hubert yesterday. When it rains, there will be a huge puddle of water here. Like this will it's one of the areas where water concentrates. So when it's like quite wet, like even not fully wet, but even just medium wet, let's say, it'll be very tricky to brake. Well, we still have a big boat car kind of car, like front engine, so it'll be more or less okay, but it's easy to aquaplane here because there'll be so much water and the braking power will be really reduced. So when it's very wet, we have to make sure we brake like more or less at the beginning of the curb, or if we're going to brake later, we have to be at least one car width to the left. Like the car should be here instead, because otherwise there will be a lot of water here and it will be unstable, and we're just going to have a lot less braking power and we're going to go very, very deep. But yeah, here, if it's dry, definitely brake where there's this, where the white line is kind of faded because of rubber marks of braking. So try to brake basically there. This is a tricky one, but it seemed like you did still quite a good line to keep it tight. Although yesterday we were with Hubert was trying to brake in a more or less of a V shape, so going to the apex a bit earlier, and then kind of coming, like he was maybe apexing a bit early and then coming wide, like not so wide, but maybe to the middle of the track, and then sharpening, like coasting very slowly and sharpening the tightening the steering to make some kind of more or less like a V, and then he was getting a lot of good exit speed, exit acceleration out of the corner, and his delta was going green. So that's we will see how it goes basically on the when we do our laps, and we'll see what we find is fastest, because I've seen that the CDA guy also takes kind of a traditional apex line. So I think it'll depend both on fuel and of course also on the conditions. But yeah, it's a matter of experimenting both lines and looking at our delta and seeing how it improves basically. So yeah, that's it. Hope it's useful. It's maybe all the information that I've seen on other videos and from what I remember, but hopefully this will be a more personalized video for our car, for our race. I hope it helps. So yeah, good luck and enjoy.